In our previous session we discussed the general overview, or rather the instructions for writing an IGNO assignment. So in this particular session we will focus our attention towards this particular course code BEGAE-182 titled English Communication Skills, and here we are discussing the assignment for the July 2023 and January 2024 sessions. For both these sessions, it's the same assignment provided. Okay, download the assignment from the official IGNO webpage. It is written that the maximum marks allotted is 100. So you are writing a 100 marks assignment. I hope you are aware of the fact that 30% of your total mark for any course code would be from assignments, and the rest 70 would be based on your TEE. So assignments do matter, and before starting to write any assignment, make sure that you read the instructions thoroughly. We have discussed the general instructions. Now moving on to the specific instruction here, answer all questions. Before that, it is written that all these questions are based on blocks 1 to 4. As far as I am aware of, there are just 3 blocks within BEGAE-182. It could be a typo, it could be a typing mistake. So please be aware that within this course code BEGAE-182, you have for study just 3 blocks. Block 1 is titled Understanding Communication. Block 2 is titled Listening and Speaking Skills. Block 3 is titled Reading and Writing Skills. All the questions, may that be for any assignment, TMA or exam TEE, all the questions will solely be based on your IGNO official study material. Okay. So here you don't have an option, especially because it's assignment. It's an assignment which you are expected to invest some time, read, understand, study and write. Unlike an examination, you can refer to sources. By sources, I am referring to your official IGNO study material, and write this assignment effectively. So you will have to attempt all 10 questions. There are a total of 10 questions provided. You will have to attempt all the 10 questions. Each question carries 10 marks. Okay, 10 into 10, 100. This is how the marks are divided. So it's uniform marking, 10 marks for all the questions. So if you are referring to prior assignments, there could be some differences. From time to time, they make some minor changes in question pattern. With respect to the July 2023 and Jan 2024 sessions, this is the question pattern. All short essay questions, 10 into 10, 100 marks. Okay, yeah, certainly these are short essay questions. 5 marks would be a short note. 10 marks would certainly be a short essay, and 20 marks would be a long essay. Fortunately or not, you don't have any long essays to write. All your answers are for 10 marks. Okay, so certainly you will have to plan and write. Okay, a general guideline that I'd like to mention is, as these are short essay questions, as per the instructions, you are expected to give a brief introduction and conclusion. Okay, just keep that in mind. Okay, so shall we move on to the questions as such? Firstly, let's take up question number 1. What do you understand by the term non-verbal communication? What are its advantages? So I told you our entire study material is divided into 3 blocks. Okay, so this comes under block 1. If you are interested, I can help you with the specific unit in which this belongs to. Okay, so this topic comes under Unit 3 of block 1. Is that clear? Unit 3 of block 1. Section 3.3 on page number 47. But while you write, I don't want everybody to write uniform answers, so I am not telling you how to start and what to write. Okay? But make sure that you plan your answer. This is exactly what you are supposed to write. Now, moving on to the next question. Write a short note on macro functions of communication. This is also a very straight question from block 1. If you are wondering from which unit, this belongs to unit 1, page number 9. So block 1, unit page number 9. There you might find it challenging to write this answer for 10 marks. What's the reason? The reason is because you just have 7 points given there with a brief explanation. Now it's up to the learner to increase the length of the answer with a suitable introduction and conclusion. So you can start with what is communication. You can write the types of communication, the functions of communication. Thereafter mention this, and you can also attach a suitable conclusion. But even if you write this introduction and conclusion, your core answer should be based on what is given in the question. See, a short note on macro functions of communication should cover most of the answer that you write. Okay, that is the challenging aspect. Very often we find learners writing all other aspects but a small paragraph on macro functions of communication. That will not fetch you marks. I suppose I am clear to you. Am I clear to you? Now moving on to the next question. How do you differentiate between group discussions at interviews and group discussions in general? So this is also a straight question from block 2, unit 3. Here you will have to put in a bit of effort to summarize all the points given here in the study material and write as per the demand of the question. Okay? I can't give you an exact page number because that would create confusion. You will have to read, understand and write according to your perspective. Okay, so moving on to the next question. Next question is quite simple and easy. I'm very sure that all of you will certainly attempt this question, and this question will not trouble you. This falls under which block? Any idea? This falls under block 3, unit 2. Block 3, unit 2. What are homonyms and homophones? Explain with suitable examples. So if you look at section 2.4, page number 26, you can see a detailed explanation with examples on homonyms. Similarly, on the next page, page number 28, you can see a detailed explanation on homophones. Okay. You can write a brief introduction on some difficulties in learning English vocabulary. Before that, you can also mention what vocabulary is and then mention all these things. Okay. But make sure that your answer should have enough of the content that they have asked in the question. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 5. Question number 5. What are some of the meeting etiquettes which one must follow while attending a meeting? Also suggest ways to end a meeting. The same unit as that of group discussion, unit 3. Block 2, unit 3. Section 3.3 meetings. That is from page number 44. You can summarize and write your own answers. Okay, suggest ways to end the meeting, that is also clearly given. Now moving on to question 6. A construction company is planning to cut down several trees in your locality to build new flats. As the president of your residential association, write a formal letter to the editor of your local newspaper highlighting this issue. So as you can see, this is not a straight question from any of the units. Nevertheless, you can find that this is a formal letter that you should write. So, Unit 4 of Block 3. Let me repeat. Block 3, Unit 4 gives you an orientation on how to write a formal letter. Block 3, Unit 4. So from that you can easily find the structure or format of writing a formal letter, and make sure that your letter is lengthy enough. Okay, I understand it's a formal letter. Normally we do write informal letters lengthier than formal letter, but make sure that your letter is at least of a minimum of 1 page. Okay, but it's for 10 marks. It would be great if you can make it to 1.5 pages. But it's not the page number that matters. It is the content that matters. By content, I am referring to firstly the format. Make sure that you follow the correct format. Secondly, you should proofread what you have written. That is, grammatical items should be correct. And thirdly, the content. Everything that you mention should correspond to the question. And you should write the relevant aspects that are required to be written. You have sample formal letters as part of Unit 4 of Block 3. You can refer to that before writing this answer. So moving on to question number 7. That also seemed to be a practical application question. So question 7 is as follows. You are attending an international conference in your city. You have just met a participant from the USA. Write a dialogue in 10 turns where both of you get introduced to each other and discuss your expectations from the conference. So this is dialogue writing. Conversation. So conversation comes as part of Block 1, Unit 1. So section 1.7 gives you characteristics and conventions of conversation. You don't have to write any theory here. On page number 19 there is the sample conversation given. Make sure that you read that. 10 turns should be there. Okay, it's a 10 mark question. So A should say 10, B should say 10. Likewise 10 turns should be there. Okay, and you can also refer to Unit 1 of Block 2, since this is related to getting introduced to each other. As part of Block 2 Unit 1, you will find relevant language that you can use. For example, page number 8, section 1.3 of Block 2 Unit 1 gives you sample introductions. Okay, you can refer to all these things and make up your own dialogues. Okay, you can either write A and B, or else you can give names too. That's according to your own discretion. Okay, so that's an application question. Moving on to question number 8. Write an essay on barriers to communication. Wow, it's a very straight question. Normally this is an expected essay question even for your examination. So this falls under Block 1, Unit 3, Section 3.5, that is page number 50 to 55. make sure that you read and condense the answer, because you just have to write for 10 marks. You'll also find some relevant aspects of barriers to communication in Unit 1 of Block 1, Section 1.3. There is also a small heading, barriers to communication. So it's up to you to condense everything and make it into a 10-mark answer. This might need a bit of effort, but plan and write your answer effectively. Moving on to the 9th question. A group of 5 students have been given the topic environment pollution and ways to curb it for group discussion. Attempt a group discussion for a set of 3 students. Of course, this is a practical level question from Block 2, Unit 3. Group discussion. There you can see sample group discussion. Likewise, based on this topic, you can write one. You may also refer to sources, but make sure that your answer is authentic and original. 3 students, remember that, not 4. Okay. Moving on to the last question. You have been invited to speak in a webinar for high school students on the topic contribution of youth in nation building. So what do you mean by a webinar, if you're wondering? It is a web-based seminar. Okay, a seminar conducted online would be a webinar. Okay, so the audience is basically high school students and the topic is contribution of youth in nation building. There they've given you a word count, okay, 300 words, which means a minimum of 3 pages. Okay, so in 3 to 4 pages you can write. So far we have discussed all the questions within the assignments. Make sure that you don't mention to which block and unit all these answers belong to. That I've just mentioned for your ease of writing effective assignments. You don't have to mention this answer belongs to this block and so forth. That is the wrong way of writing. As I already told you, start off with an introduction, the body where you'll answer the question or the content as mentioned in the question, and thereafter you will write a brief conclusion. This is how your answer should be structured. And make sure that you write all your assignments, complete it on time and submit it before the deadline at your respective study center. I hope all my explanations were clear to you. Thank you. So now